Welcome to Call Out Podcast. We deliver campus news and provide entertainment for the HEC community. In today's episode, we'll be talking with a MELE program student at HEC, Lou.
Hi, what's up, guys? My name is Lou. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you for joining us, Lou.
Yeah, no problem. I had actually just gotten this big sticker of the podcast logo in the mail for the goodie bag thing that HCC's
Yeah.
student board was doing.
Nice.
And I was
Nice.
like, oh, cool. And then the next day was when I got hit up about the podcast. And I was like, oh, perfect. I got this giant sticker. I can use that now with purpose.
Wait.
I didn't even get a
sticker.
I know we didn't even get the sticker.
It's an
That's-
exclusive
Yeah, exclusive.
VIP.
Wow.
So I guess we can start. Lou, can you tell us about yourself?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Basically, it's my second year in HCC, but I'm a music person, and so ever since my freshman year in high school, I've been eyeing out the MELE program from afar. So the fact that I'm continuing in college for all of my music stuff is incredibly insane to me because I'm only 18 right now, which is kind of interesting because I graduated high school a bit early for my age, I guess. But I guess music had always been a thing that I always knew I was interested in because I think my very first exposure to it was we had a little choir thing when I was in
Nice.
kindergarten. Long time ago. But basically up until middle school, I think that was definitely where I joined every single band, percussion ensemble, jazz band, just all these crazy things. And I was in orchestra because I was in school for the mainland for a bit, and choir as well in the mainland
Wow.
and here. And so it's been a solid amount of years, I guess. Music has never been a question.
Yeah, that sounds pretty solid.
So, how did you hear about MELE and why did you come to HCC?
So when I was a freshman at Castle High School, I was in Polynesian music band. And
Nice.
so that program was oh, we have a field trip or whatever to go check out this facility at the Honolulu Community College campus. And they were like, if you are really into music, you could head over there because the boys from Kulahikai had actually been under my teacher at Castle in that program. And so Noah Cronin
Wow.
had actually from the band had gone there. And so my teacher was just really excited to show us the program because there was nothing else like it in the entire state. So we go in there and they've got all this shiny equipment and things that I don't know how to use, but it looks super interesting. And just seeing the whole facility, and even my current instructor, Eric Lagrimas, when I had seen him just talk about the entire facility and the way that he did with a lot of pride, I was like, I'm sold, man. I need to go here.
Nice.
Yeah, and I came back to visit my junior year in high school because I was at a career fair, and he happened to be at the career fair, and a couple Kailua High School alumni from the program who were in the program. And they just invited me by, and they were like, we can show you around again and let you check it out. So I did. And then next year I graduated, and I was like, immediate sign up.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really interesting to have just been looking from afar for like 4 years and then to just be in the place I am now.
I like to see that HCC does that for a lot of people. Uh,
Yeah,
Great.
exactly. It's kind of weird because even hearing just a lot of other students as well that I've come across at the campus, like I never really thought much about how sometimes it's really hard to figure out what you're going to do after high school.
Hmm.
And it was just a bit less common for people to really know like how I knew I wanted to do music.
Right.
And I think it's really cool the environment that the school really cultivates for people because you can tell that they really go and take steps to make sure that as many people as possible on campus know that there's different things available for them and to try and stuff like that.
On the notion of what HCC offers you, what does MELE offer you as an artist and as a student?
Oh my goodness. I feel like I can't even begin. Experience and just being in an environment where there's
Hmm.
people who understand the dedication and even just like the technical terms. I mean, as IT people, I'm sure there's a ton of vocabulary you have and other people wouldn't really get it, but
Yeah.
it's like that type of environment where you are like, okay, it doesn't really matter experience level, or it doesn't matter how long you've been here, that we all share a common interest. And so that was really cool for me, especially just starting college. It was really cool to just experience that type of like, you're okay, like you don't have to try and fit in or anything because we're all out here doing the same thing and aspirations.
Hmm.
And the amount that I learned in my first semester was double what I probably thought I would get to know about the industry,
Right.
about music and entertainment in general. I was blown away. There was things that I didn't even know existed, like behind the scenes. And yeah, in all the events too, where, before COVID-19 happened, um, there were all these like opportunities to go and volunteer for different music things and like the Hoku Awards. There was volunteering for that. I had volunteered for a Ragamuffs concert.
Hmm.
Yeah, just like working their merch table, and it was weird how much pride I had to work that merch table because yeah, it was like I know it's not exactly the goal, but to just be in a place where that's just the music is happening, whether I'm on
Right.
stage or off the stage, like it's still really great to just be there.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
know Melee offers two focuses. I'm curious which one you're in, the audio or the business side.
So right now, I am in the music business pathway, and it was the hardest thing having to decide between the two because when I originally enrolled, I had said I'm going to do audio engineering. But the first set of classes we have for like the majority of second semester, definitely
Uh-huh.
first semester, we take a little bit of just the basics of the industry. So it's kind of both. And I really liked how they gave us a look at music business and then audio engineering, just like on the surface, because it really helped me decide as a student, like, oh, I actually am really interested in this, even though I didn't think about it. And audio engineering wasn't clicking the same for me as I thought it would.
Mm.
And Yeah, it's really great. I've met people who have had the opposite of me, where they were like, oh, I actually am interested in engineering instead of business. But I have seen a few people who have decided to do both sides. Either they're dual majoring at once, or they'll take one semester or one pathway and then finish that and then just tack on the other one right after.
Right.
So, what is the biggest challenge for a MELE student, at least, is for having to be at home, having to learn at home?
Um, so for the business pathway, I actually have found it to be a bit more, it's been easier, I think, for us rather than the
Oh yeah.
audio engineering side, because they're more so involved with being in the studio and learning the equipment. So I can't even imagine how that is for them.
All right.
But being home, um, it I feel like it's, mainly the physical presence that you get from kind of being in a classroom. That's really the biggest difference to me, because we're still learning all the things that we would have in the classroom. It's just some of the ways that we execute our assignments or our projects are maneuvered just a little bit to work with being online.
Right. Right.
So after you get your degree, what are your plans after?
Oh, yeah. So after my degree, I really am looking towards going to Belmont University, which is in
Mm.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Hmm.
And it's because the way our school is, the MELE program is at Mike Curb's MELE Studios. He owns the music business school at Belmont University.
Oh wow.
And so it's cool to know that, credits will transfer through correctly in that case, since
Cool.
they know us and we know them, and it's supposed to flow well into that area of the school. And the only thing for me is I'm not sure what specific major I want to go into for the music business school, because there's a lot. You could go into songwriting, publishing. I've been really into publishing lately. I've been interested in that. Um, there's performance production. So there's things with emerging media, so new uses of technology and just what they can be put best towards, even outside of entertainment, I would think that could apply to. And yeah, that school looks amazing to me, especially the location, because Nashville is supposed to be like songwriting capital right now. Um, it looks really interesting to me, and yeah, I'm hoping I can get some scholarships because it's quite expensive, but we can do it.
Got this.
Yep.
So, as an artist, what drives you, what motivates you to keep making music?
Mm.
Definitely performing.
Mm.
There have been tons of times where I'd be a bit, I guess you could say, overwhelmed or almost burnt out from all of the playing or songwriting I had been trying to do, especially when I'm learning new concepts, like making music electronically. Learning a whole software system that I'm still currently learning how to use has really been more frustrating than I thought. So there were tons of times where I was like, man, this is like so hard. And but then I realized, like, you can't really get anywhere without hard work. And performing has always been the highlight of everything music for me. Cause I don't know, I've just been on stage ever since I guess, middle school when I was up on stage, just having to do all these different events and things. And even in elementary school, I did this like, I would do like written word acting. I don't even know how to explain it. We were in elementary school. It was weird, but like I've always had like this thing where I love being in front of people and just doing things that I enjoy and that I'm good at, and people are just like they enjoy seeing it. They like how it makes them feel, if it's the music or that just puts a smile on their face, you know? It's always been really cool, especially as a person who I've always loved being at concerts and seeing musicals. I saw a lot of musicals in the past, and I just be
Mm,
like, "This is amazing!" And there's definitely just a energy when I'm on stage. It's weird. It's kind of like that zone that people
right.
get when they're just like, "Okay, I'm ready to do this."
Nice.
I had actually participated in like my first beat showcase. This was last year at a shop named Light Sleepers, and they had these showcases like all the time. It was called Pizza, but with like three
Pizza.
Z's. Three Z's
Okay.
since it's like
Okay.
sleeping, and then beats and
Right.
pizza because they'd have pizza.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it was a
Clever.
cool name. But yeah, that was where I had just started working interning at a studio after I graduated high school. Um and one of the guys, he's like still one of my mentors right now. He's the greatest guy. Um he was like, "Oh yeah, they have a beat showcase. I think it'd be really cool if, I could help you make something and then we could go have you at the showcase." Because it was the very last one before they closed, so it was going to be a little bit bigger, have more people. They even had a fridge of like ice cream and energy drinks. I was
Nice.
like,
Nice.
"Whoa." But yeah, so I had brought down my beats and then we just played a few, and everyone else did their own thing as well. And then later that year, in October, so about a little over a year ago, I had my first show like as an artist. So it was me and my group that I work with, the AV Club, with a club with a K because we're cool. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
But yeah, so we were on stage and we just played some of our rap songs, and it was really cool. It was at a Hawaiian Brian's,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, it was for a showcase called The Most Shine. And yeah, I think they have it every year, held by Connor Boy. But yeah, we had that. That was my first show ever. Then I think our most recent one with the same group of people, the AV Club, um, there's Hawai'i Sneakerhead Space. And
Mm,
so that was like it's a showcase for like all these shoes. People were selling crazy streetwear collections and art. Max Holloway was there, so I was like trying not
mm.
to. I was trying to keep my cool. Just tons of good energy, and so we got to be one of the people who performed for everyone there, and yeah,
Nice.
it was super sick.
You got to perform for Max Holloway.
Yeah, I honestly don't even remember if he was there during that point because it's like high profile, gotta get in, get out. I don't
Right.
remember
Right.
when I saw him. I get really starstruck, which is like the worst thing ever.
Oh no.
Yeah, like yeah, and I think it was at the concert like 2 years ago maybe with where Cardi B and Migos and Snoop Dogg came here and played at the Aloha Stadium. I like cried a lot when Cardi B came out. I had no clue. I wasn't even that
I would
into
too.
her. Yeah, and
Right.
she wasn't like
Hmm.
super like I think she had just released her most recent album, Invasion
Mhm.
of Privacy, that had just been released. And I started bawling. I had no clue why. Yeah, it was weird. So hopefully I learn to work on that.
So we talked about what you liked about music. What are the things that you don't like about, making music or other people?
Yeah, we can cut this
Yeah.
out if you don't want. You can just rant.
You can edit whatever you want. You can make it just so that it's all the parts of me saying but basically I would love to say that there's nothing I don't like about music. I mean,
Mm,
in essence, that's a bit true because everything is, growth in some sort of way, having to deal with things you don't like at least. But I definitely think, for one, the monetary aspect,
yeah.
it can be a lot of money, and to get, for people if they need studio time, if someone doesn't own enough things to record at their own house, and if you do
Yeah.
want to record at your own house, and want a certain quality of sound, you definitely have to go and pick up a few things. Um, and everything, I think this is a situational Hawaii thing for music in my experience at least. I live in Ohuimanu, like right past Kaneohe, and
Mm.
everything in my house rusts, like no matter what. So my guitars and my amps,
Oh
like
no.
the sockets where you're supposed to have like inputs, those always rust. And so if I'm not super diligent with taking care of them, it's just like, whew, not good sounds, basically.
Sounds-
So can you share like your process of making a song? Like how do you
Um,
do it?
that is one of the most interesting things that I've come to realize is the less that I thought about making a song, like thought about the end result and what I want from it, if I'm not thinking, that's when the best things end up coming out.
Nice.
Because I guess, for me, I love having structure. That's definitely a thing that I appreciate, in everyday life, just having a way to do things a certain way. And so if I'm thinking really hard about, okay, in this part, I have to get a guitar going, but I'm just not feeling a guitar from the way I'm playing it, I'll end up making something that I'm not happy with. And being able to just kind of go play it by ear, literally.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's more of a creative thing because you're not thinking of what you want from it. You're just doing what kind of feels good and sounds good. But obviously, for some assignments, if I have to create a song, um, in a really timely fashion, I'll usually start with, either a melody, so like words and lyrics and that type of feel, because the lyrics of a song and how it sounds can really affect the song in general. Or you could do the opposite, where there's just so much like music and instruments going on where you don't even pay attention to what the person's saying half the time. So if I take that route, I like to start with drums a lot. Drums are
Mhm.
always cool because if you're playing super fast or soft, and makes a difference always.
Right. Like you're setting the pace, you're starting the beat.
Yeah, exactly. It's the pace, sets the pace for everything else
Hmm.
in the song.
Yeah, like what do you use as inspiration for songs like this?
Just things that happen, I guess, in everyday life. things that are so common in everyday life, but they still have a pretty big impact, I guess. Almost like when you watch movies, kind of, where they're doing regular people things, but there's something extra special about something so regular that might switch something up. So that can be anything from like family for me, my dynamic with the relationships in my family, or a classic one is a breakup, of course. Or yeah, growing up can be a more regular one for me because I do a lot of looking back, I guess you could say, like only looking back or making comparisons from then and now. Yeah, it's really just a feeling, I guess. And that's the way it should be because music just kind of makes us feel too. So I think music's just a feeling that you can hear, honestly.
Yeah, nice way of putting it. That's a title. That's the title for this podcast. Music is a
Whoa.
feeling you can hear.
And orange is a color that you can taste.
All right, that'll be the title.
We're gonna bold the orange part.
Ooh, amazing.
Do you have any favorite artists?
Yeah, definitely. I can always say that the 1975, the band has given me a lot of inspiration for my guitars because they're super wonky sometimes and all over the place, or it's just really like solid, strong chords, or just acoustic guitar. They've literally gone all over the place, and that's one of the things I love about them is their sound has switched up so many different times, and part of that is I think them staying true to themselves and keeping in mind why they started making music in the first place is because everything felt good and sounded good and it was cool to do rather than sticking to, oh, this is what people expect from them now that they're big.
Right.
Things like that. Yeah, that's something that I definitely admire them for that. Cliche enough, Ariana Grande. I cannot lie. Because, I think it takes a lot for a person to have the transparency that she does. I don't know so much about her latest album. I don't need that transparency. But, the way she's able to write about things, because she does put in writing for a lot of her songs, in the way that it makes a lot of people want to get up and move is really cool to me. I think some of my favorite music is stuff that you can't just like sit still to. You gotta be like, go bust a move or something. Yeah, and then other than that, I'd probably say Lil Peep. Everyone I know knows that I love Lil Peep. Yeah, and I admire the way he kind of dropped everything that he had at home and he was like, I'm gonna make this happen and I'm gonna go do it regardless that no one believes in me. And then the authenticity of his words in his lyrics, I really think it's almost similar to people might hate me for saying this, but when Nirvana first came out, a lot of people were like, oh, it's not going to be successful, it's too ugly sounding, like he's too emotional and feeling weirder about things than other people do. But it actually ended up seeming more than that to people. People really liked it. And I guess that's the way it was for me, because I would listen to his music and I was like, I have never heard someone just like say it like so accurately down to what they're feeling, regardless of what anyone else thinks, because you can put a lot of stuff into a song and people will relate, but to hear like emotion in a person's voice and keep like
Mhm.
the voice cracks and everything too,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like I love authenticity when it comes in music, even when it's like a lot of times when it's not as perfectly recorded or the
Right.
quality. I think it just brings like that feeling like you're in the room with a person.
Right. Like it adds that character that only that artist can provide.
Yeah, exactly. And you can really tell when you figure out a person, how a person made an album, I think, because there's this one artist I love named Hosier, and he made that one song a couple years ago, "Take Me to Church," that
Mm.
was all over the radio. That entire album he made like in his attic or something,
Right.
but he was like, I'm pretty sure it said that he was like all by himself and he was just like zoning, like he was just writing what he needed to at the time and just got it done.
What kind of equipment do you like to use when you produce music and stuff?
This is these headphones I'm super thankful for. My mom got them for me for like
Oh
my
yeah,
birthday 2 years ago. I think it's the Audio
Audio
Technica
Technica, huh?
MX40 or something, maybe 50, 30, I don't know, something around there. Um, I use a MacBook, but
Right.
because the newest one has the USB-C ports, I
Mm.
have to have I always have some sort of adapter going on, even if it's like an audio interface. I
Mhm.
mean, I think any regular laptop would need that, but I've always got some sort of extension going on with like a bunch of wires everywhere. Um, and one of my favorite things to use is, I don't even know if it's necessarily meant for plug-in purposes. For oh yeah, the digital audio workstation DAW that I use is a Logic Pro X.
Mm.
Definitely a fan of that one. But there's the Ultimate Guitar has this like own their own app thing called Tone Bridge, and it, if you like have headphones in or something to your computer, and you have your
Mhm.
guitar hooked up, it there's like a ton of different ways that you can make your guitar sound from different like songs that already exist.
Nice.
But you can still manipulate the settings as you'd like. So that's one of like my favorite things ever.
Any immediate or long-term music goals that you have?
Yes, definitely. I guess one would be to release something under my name as an artist, Luce Lago,
Yeah.
solely.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cause right now I have features and stuff, but I think it'd be really cool to just have a single out under my name. It could have a feature,
Mhm.
but I just want that like artist name to be like, yeah. And I think that's supposed to be something that is aiming to release by, I guess, 2021, which isn't as far away
Yeah.
as it seems,
Mhm.
crazy
Lago
enough.
2021.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was
Oh.
cool just hearing it. But yeah. Cuz my group and I were working on a third mixtape right now.
Mm.
There's a two mixtapes so far. I just came into the picture on the second one. So now that we're working on
Mm.
the third one, which is set to release like late December. Um yeah, one of my goals I'm supposed to hit is to have a single out before the mixtape. So
Mm.
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, you got this.
Mhm.
Yeah, but my perfectionist levels, like I need to tone it down or else nothing's gonna get out.
Oh,
Yeah,
the music
that's
you sent us, we actually like it. It's pretty good.
oh
Mm-hmm.
thanks. Yeah.
Good
And
stuff.
like they can be, yeah, as you, I think I sent one more like trap type
Mm.
beat. It's
The
really
like
trap.
hyper.
Yeah, and then compared to, some of the two other songs, it's just like
Mm-hmm.
the dynamic flips.
Right, right, right.
And
Mhm.
that's where I'm like trying to figure out like what genre is the single I'm gonna release even
Mm-hmm.
be. Because yeah, I particularly would love if I didn't even stick to one genre, because like
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes me happy.
Yeah.
But
Don't let no
dealing with,
label define you.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. But thinking about like everything that I know with the music business side now,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, is that something I could save for later since I'm just
Right.
starting? Or especially because I guess if a person hears you, the first thing they do, they're like, oh, does she have anything else like this?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes, because it's kind of all over the place. Thinking that I rap is like kind of weird to me in itself, because I always made jokes about it. I always made jokes about it in high school. Like, I'm gonna be a rapper. But everyone knew
Yeah.
that I like sang too. And yeah, I started off rapping actually before I
Yeah, spit some
actually
bars, spit some bars.
really got into
Mhm.
singing. Oh, I wish I could freestyle. Oh my god, that's something I gotta work on. But yeah, it was like I think middle school. I think I'd just gotten into middle school where that was the kind of like crazy moment in my musician life where I didn't even know it was starting, when I was like, I'm gonna stay up past my bedtime and I'm gonna write raps, like that type of thing. It was like super, like I think of one of those movies where it's showing someone on the come up.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I would do. But yeah, the fact that I'm doing that now and singing is like, it's just super cool to me.
Mm.
I've had people who have only hear me they've only heard me rap before, and then they'll hear a song with me singing and they're like, there's no way this is the same person. And then people who have only heard me singing are like, there's no way you rap. It's just like, yeah, get you somebody who can do both.
Nice, nice.
Nice.
Yep, that's the way it's gonna be. Yeah, but I really hope to be singing it and rapping on our next mixtape. But it's more of like a fun get up and move type of vibe, so who knows. That was my goal for it. I just want it to be something where I explained it as almost like a pre-party playlist, like
Mm.
Mm.
not the music that you're like throwing down to, getting super lit and stuff, but like when you're driving on the way there, like, oh yeah,
Nice,
we're gonna
nice,
have a good
nice.
time.
Right.
So, can you tell us your name, your stage name? Where did that come from?
Oh, Luce Lago.
Lucy Lago.
People, yeah, a lot of people say Lucy Lago, and I
Mm-hmm.
understand that because the I comes before the
Yeah.
E.
Before the E.
But I actually I got that because my name is, Lou.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a car that was like definitely a dream car for a really long time, still kind of is. The Lamborghini Murcielago.
Okay.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
I heard it a lot. I think, especially when Mercy by Kanye West and like Two
Okay.
Chains was on it
Right, right, right.
and everything. Yeah, when that song came out years ago, I was like, he's like Mercy Lago, and I was like, okay, this is cool. But it wasn't until I was like really thinking hard. I was like, what is my name gonna be?
Dude, where can
Yeah,
can
where
we
can we
find
find you, Lou?
Oh yeah, I'm mainly on Instagram since you can't find me on campus being a rat in the Melee Lounge.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at just Luce Lago. So I before the E. Yeah, just remember that. LOUCIELAGO. But I also have a SoundCloud if you want to check that out.
Yeah.
I think there will be links in the description
Yeah,
if you
we
guys
got you.
are coming in for me. But yeah, I've got some things on major streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and that.
Hmm.
YouTube as well. We've got
Mm,
that. So,
nice.
yep, that is where I will be after this, lurking on the internet.
All right.
um,
It was nice listening to you and hearing your experience on the program and being a musician.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Yeah,
being here.
thank you
thank you.
guys. It
Yeah.
was a pleasure for me to talk about the program. Pleasure to have y'all listening. It's nice.
Yeah, and if you have any more music, just send it to us. We'll
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
definitely. I know who I can connect with now for that. All right.
Well,
Perfect. And deuces.
bye.
Shoot.
thank you for listening to Kala Podcast. Listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Anchor. New episodes every Monday. Visit thekala.net for campus news and events. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And don't forget to check out Luisiago on social media, SoundCloud, and YouTube as well. And enjoy this song that she released all on major streaming platforms called My Own Lane. Enjoy.
I've been better on my own. Things will never change.
You tell me to go, then you beg me to stay.
Been running around in circles every day, it's just the same.
I think I should leave, but I can't stay away.
I've been in my own lane.
I just need some time and
I've been in my
space.
own lane.
You're the music I can
I've been in my
fade.
own lane.
I just need some time and space away from you. But you are mute. I wonder where we went wrong. All the things I never said. Why are you still in my head? I wish I could be so free from everything you've done to me. Moving so unfaithfully. Why could you not let me be? I've been trying to be okay. So please don't call on me, baby.
I won't say that I've been doing fine. It's not out of sight, so it's not out of mind. Won't say that I've been doing fine. It's still on my mind. I've been better on my own. Things will never change.
You tell me to go, then you beg me to stay.
Been running around in circles every day, it's just the same.
I think I should leave, but I can't stay away.
I've been in my own lane.
I just need some time and
I've been in my
space.
own lane.
You're the music I can
I've been in my
fade.
own lane.
I just need some time and space away from you. But you are mute.
Being so indecisive, no, I ain't got time for that. Saying we never talk, but don't pick up, won't call me back. Come running back to me, just to say you gonna leave. Losing feelings for a reason, baby, can't you see? Wanna love you, but all it does is tear me down. Don't wanna hurt you, but babe, I gotta let it down.
I won't say that I've been doing fine. It's not out of sight, so it's not out of mind. Won't say that I've been doing fine. You're still on my mind sometimes.